I'm Jessica Minton for IB Times TV, and I'm here with Mark Schaefer, who's a globally recognized author, business consultant, and his new book entitled Return on Influence is out, and he's going to talk to us a little bit about social media and marketing and how it affects companies. Thank you so much for being here.
It's a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. What motivated you to write this book?
Well, it's just, honestly, I started blogging about this topic, and I was interested because we're at the cusp of this marketing revolution that's not being led by advertising agencies or marketing or PR folks. It's being led by us, by normal people. And it only could have happened in the last couple of years because we've had two technological shifts. We've had widespread access to high-speed internet and then these free, easy-to-use publishing tools. So everybody has a voice now. Everybody can create buzz. Influence has been democratized. And so now companies are starting to tap into this to figure out who's creating buzz for these brands, for these products, for these services. So I started writing about it. Every time I write about it, people would just go crazy because they say, I don't want to be rated. How dare you rate my influence? On the other hand, all these companies were actually using these scores. So it was this intersection of personal loathing and corporate opportunity that I thought would make a good book.
So how exactly do you think the internet has changed the way marketing is going right now for companies?
Well, as I said, it really has. We're going through a revolution right now because historically companies have relied on advertising, traditional advertising. And think about now, if you could figure out who's creating buzz on a mass scale, who are your most passionate brand advocates? Think how much more powerful it would be to have those people writing about your brand, writing about your product, telling the world on Twitter and Facebook and blogs and Instagram how much they love your sandwich while they're in the shop eating it compared to taking out an ad in the newspaper. So, I mean, it's a whole new marketing channel that's being created by these new easy-to-use publishing tools.
Right. Do you think the quality of marketing will be affected if companies are using marketing at a low-cost, high-speed internet type deal now?
Well, the research is showing that one of the traditional measures is impressions, is the cost per impressions. And the early research is showing that by marketing through this, influence marketing it's called now, social influence marketing, that the cost per impression is as good or better than traditional advertising. But it's more effective in many ways because it's organic. It's coming from the people who are using the products instead of someone broadcasting to you.
Right. What is cloud and why is that important for companies to know about?
Well, cloud is probably the leading company right now that's working on these very complex algorithms to figure out what do you write about. So, Jessica, when you write about movies or when you write about fashion, do people go crazy? All right, and does your content move through the system, move through the internet, and do people buzz whenever you write? So they've got teams of PhD scientists working on that, and they're one of a number of companies. There are a lot of other companies working on this as well, but they're probably the leading one. And what they look at is, what do you talk about? And when you talk about it, does your content move through the internet and does it create buzz? And so now we're able to define, would it be interesting for a beverage company to know who is creating buzz about beer in Boston? Or who are the most powerful mommy bloggers in the world? We can find that out now very quickly and very cost effectively.
Can you tell me a little bit about how you pitched the book to McGraw-Hill and how this was definitely something new?
Well, it was completely new, and I had a very unusual pitch because I wrote an outline and I said, I have no idea what this book is going to be about because it was so new. A book like this has never been written before because all these trends have only come together in the last few years. No one really knew who the experts were. No one really knew what was behind these secret algorithms. Nobody really knew where this was going, so I had to do completely new research. And they were okay with that. They said, all right, we trust you, we think it's going to be good. So I ended up interviewing over 70 people for this book. I did a lot of academic research, and so this is entirely new. It's an entirely new marketing channel. It's an entirely new kind of book, and I think that's why it's so exciting and why I'm so excited about it. And the book actually ended up being about 80% different than the original outline. It was nothing like what I thought it was going to be.
What advice do you have for companies that are first starting out right now that are trying to use social networking, and then also for companies that are already pretty much experts at it? What could they do to get better?
Yeah. Well, this whole idea of influence marketing is everybody's trying to solve this right now, and it's not really easy. It can be very tricky. I'll give you an example. There was a big brand that I worked with that said, we're going to do outreach to mommy bloggers. We recognize that they can be very influential about our products. So they invited them to a big dinner in New York City, and the mommy bloggers ended up leaving very pissed off because they had to hire babysitters. They couldn't bring their kids to this fancy restaurant, so they had to pay for a babysitter. They had to pay to come to this fancy restaurant. They had to pay the transportation. So it completely backfired. This company thought they were doing something great. So this really is, you know, a new way of thinking. It's not traditional, listen to us. It's really meeting your customers where they are, nurturing them, providing stuff that's very helpful to them, very useful to them, so that hopefully they'll create positive buzz about you. But there is some magic involved to it.
Okay. What kind of new trends do you see that are coming for the future of marketing?
Yeah. I think where this is going to be heading next is mobile and local. Okay, so the way these companies are working is they're recognizing people with high clout scores or high influence scores. So it'll get to a point, and it's coming very soon, I think, where you'll be able to walk down the street and just look on your smartphone and see deals at local businesses just for you, based on your power, based on your influence. So there's going to be some interesting things happen, because it's going to create kind of this level of haves and have-nots. And the haves are going to be getting all this free stuff, and they already are. There's a guy out in LA that I feature in the book, and he's a graphic designer for the city of LA. And he's getting invited to the VH1 Awards. He's getting free airline tickets. He's being shuttled around in a limousine because he can create buzz. And people are, and down South by Southwest, he got a free ticket to see Jay-Z. So people are saying, wait, you know, how do I get this? I want to be part of this. And so this is going mainstream. And for the people that are creating good content, who are really engaging with their network, businesses and individuals, they're getting rewarded. And I've got a couple chapters in the book that say specifically, here's how you increase your clout score. Here's how you get on board with this stuff that I think people will be really interested in.
That's great. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
Well, it's a very sunny book. It's yellow, it's very happy, it's very nice. So I think it would jump off the shelves. I think you should buy it just because it's so happy and sunny. But I mean, I think this is revolutionary. It is something that's very new. And this is the field guide. That's basically what this is. It's the field guide to social influence, how to use it as a company and how to use it as an individual. So I think it'll be really, and it's a fun read too. It's the only business book I know of that features both Marilyn Monroe and Pee Wee Herman. It's kind of my thing, my niche.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
It's been a delight.
Great. Return on Influence is in stores now, and so go check it out. I'm Jessica Vinton for IB Times TV.